Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Friday, January 6th, 2023 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi and our energy mantra for today is my responsibility for today is to be in soul flow. And speaking of flow, oh my goodness, the weather on the West Coast in California, having lived in Santa Cruz for the majority of my life, I'm looking at pictures and videos from there and I'm like, oh my goodness. And one part of me is like, is this Uranus? And the other part of me is like, is this the full moon? And the smart part of me is like, it's both. So we have some really potent weather temper tantrum energy happening in the West Coast and sending lots of good wishes for that. And gonna leave that there. So, full moon today in Cancer, and just like the weather, the sky is crying, just like the weather is activated there, we may be feeling the feels. The full moon in Cancer is an activation of our feeling energy. And it's like you can't hold back anymore in this time of Capricorn. You've got to let it out. You've got to let it flow. That's definitely an important aspect, and I went into that a little bit more in yesterday's scope, so if you didn't see that, you may want to dig into that, because I want to also look at another energy of Cancer energy. Cancer is home, family, foundation, feelings. It's also mother energy, and it can also tap into our ancestral roots, and I feel like that's part of the Sabian symbol that I looked at yesterday. We talked about the mandala, the full circle. I'm going to read it to you. The Sabian symbol for 16 degrees, which is where we have the full moon, is a man studying a mandala in front of him with the help of a very ancient book. And I'm going to read 17 degrees, moving into that 17-degree energy. The unfoldment of multi-level potentialities issuing from an original germ. Meaning an original germination, a seed, not a bacteria necessarily. But it's interesting, these energies, because what really was pulling to me as I was feeling through these energies is recognizing ancestrally how we really are all connected. The web of life is what I keep seeing when I tap into that mandala. And that mandala, this ancient book, may be a reminder how we're all connected through our ancestry, through these roots, back to our origin, back to that germ, back to that seed that is spoken about in the second Sabian symbol. And I think part of moving forward in this world is remembering that original connection, remembering we're all connected, and being able to move forward accordingly. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't be hurt, upset, disgusted, whatever, by some of the gross energies that some parts of our web produce, right? Or activate. And yet, I think this is a call for more kindness, for more nurturing, more empathy, more compassion. So many of us as humans can approach things as like, if only you did this, or I know better. And, I have a friend who, as she parents her children, she is able to witness them. And she just watches them learn. It doesn't mean that sometimes she doesn't provide boundaries and appropriate guidelines or support. But so often I witness her allowing them to be who they are. And I feel like that's part of a beautiful mother energy, nurturing energy that we all can activate within ourselves, for ourselves, and for others, is where can we allow each other to be children? Where can we allow each other to go through the process of personal metamorphosis, knowing that that's part of their ultimate unfoldment. It doesn't mean we can't provide, again, boundaries, guidelines at times, but to let each other be who we are in this world. And I think that that's part of this unfolding mandala, this unfolding web of life that we're tapping into with this full moon in Cancer. So beyond feeling our feels, it's recognizing this and seeing where we can nurture each other, in part by nurturing ourselves, witnessing our own unfoldment, letting each of us be messy humans. It's part of the Cancer energy, being a messy human and being okay with it. Allow each of us to move through this. And that's part of this full moon at 16 degrees. 16 energy, that's 7. It's being in the flow, allowing the flow. Now, this full moon is also connected to both Uranus and Mercury. So there's a lot of mental energy that's coming in here. Uranus retrograde in Taurus, helping us align with our values, helping us release what's no longer working, helping us in our evolution process, and helping by bringing up the triggers. It might be quite a triggery day. And then we have Mercury in Capricorn. Mercury in Capricorn, any Capricorn can kind of be like stiff upper lip kind of energy. And yet this full moon is like, and if you can't, get it out. Speak it. Cry it. Write it. Journal it. Get this energy out and moving. So you don't have to have a temper tantrum like this weather on the West Coast right now. Because, I'm imagining Alice in Wonderland right now. Imagining the picture of when she starts crying, those big tears. We all need to go through those moments. But it's better when you let it out in little bursts than having to have it all come out at once. Let me see if there's anything else. I do want to mention that the mental vibes are very high over the next few days. Watch the stories that you are telling, because the stories we tell affect our emotions, and our emotions also can translate into stories that we tell. And you get to direct the course that they're on, so keep that in mind. We are going to be doing throat chakra today, Friday, live at noon Central Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. So come join us for that. And if you can't connect with it live, it will be recorded. But that, I think, will also help in all of this Cancer energy. How can we open and utilize our throat chakra? And besides that, let's look at these cards. Now, I've got some really funny cards right next to each other. We've got fighting and harmony, right? So this is which way are we going? Well, the mind can take us to this place. We may go to that fighting place. We may get very reactive in this full moon energy. It is reactionary AF. However, harmony is also possible in this. And the harmony comes from brain and heart coherence, working together, noticing the stories we're telling, noticing the feelings that come from the stories we're telling, shifting the stories that we're telling, having compassion for ourselves even amidst the stories that we're telling. What we do, drop in, slow down, take a little time for silence, sit with yourself, be with yourself, and after you done being, play. So those are the rules of the day, right? Drop in, silence, and then let's boogie. So I'll leave that here for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com for that. 2023 year ahead readings still going. If you have not heard from me, sometimes you may want to write me back, but I am just trying to play tic-tac-toe with my calendar and get everybody in a beautiful time. So sometimes it takes me a little bit of time to communicate with people and then have space to be like, oh, here, I can put you in here. So if you haven't heard from me, you can always write me again. No harm there. or write me for the first time. So, besides all this, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Happy full moon. Namaste.